have two very special guests in our studio, Mr. Bill Hughes and Miss Maryann Karnich. I know both of them because I've been working with them for the past several months on a very special project. The project is this book, actually a set of two books called The Game Plan, Sales and Marketing Mistakes and Sales and Marketing Action Plan. Bill, let me start with you because you and I actually go a ways back. We have some history with each other. Bill was my mentor when I first got started in this area, so everything I've learned, I've actually learned from Bill and his experience. And for years, he kept many of his notes meticulously, and I thought, when is he ever going to publish a book? And so thanks to Maryann, he's actually finally done it, and here are the two books that you've published. But before we begin, Bill, I want our audience to know a little bit about your background and what made you decide to finally put these books together.
Okay, I've got my own sales and marketing company. I've had it forever. And over the past couple of years, probably when the stock market started to go in the wrong direction, I had a number of people call me and tell me that they're thinking about starting their own business. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And then they confide in me that they're very concerned about this. They're concerned for a couple of reasons. One, they know they're going to have to sell, and they're not salesmen. Nobody wants to be a salesman who's never been a salesman. And secondly, they're particularly nervous and intimidated by today's multitasking youth who can use the internet with their left hand, their iPhone with their right hand, and carry on a conversation and while they're doing all three and look bored. So I decided, geez, if these guys and gals are going to do this, they're going to have to know how to make sales, because I've been helping companies for years, and in the end, if you don't make sales, you don't have a business. So I wrote this book both books for entrepreneurs, business people, and in particular baby boomers. The baby boomers who are either already started a business or are contemplating to do so.
You know, I find it interesting that you did choose the baby boomers as your target audience for this, because so many of them are looking for work. And in our economy, it's hard enough to find a job, but if you're feeling age disadvantaged in some way, it's even harder to find a job. So many of people are thinking about starting a business.
Let me give you some data to support that. Statistics show that 55 to 60-year-olds, some 20% of them are self-employed today.
Wow.
The 60 to 65-year-old bracket are close to 30%.
You're kidding me.
And the 66 to 70, if I remember correctly, is 43%. And the numbers are only going to get bigger because there's a lot more baby boomers coming, and there's a lot fewer jobs, whether you like it or not. That's the way it is. So the demand for they all need mentors. They need help. They need someone to show them how to short-circuit the trial and error learning curve, right? And not make those mistakes they're bound to make. They'll make some mistakes anyway, but with this mistakes book, they'll be able to proceed with some confidence and at least avoid the really hard mistakes. And with the action plan, they'll have a step-by-step instructions on how to start from the beginning and get to the end. And they can get it done quickly. By nightfall, they can literally have sketched out a sales plan.
Now, what's the basic beginning of a sales plan? What do you absolutely need to have before you can even begin to construct the idea of a business in your head?
Let me tell you, the best question to ask yourself is, what problem am I solving in the life of my customer? Your product or service must do something, solve somebody's problem. And you get me started here, but you could also ask yourself, should it do it better than the market leader?
Is it always better to do it better?
No, I didn't say that. Or should it just be different? Choose different.
Right, so choosing different is actually better than choosing better.
Because you're probably not going to make it better. The other guy's been doing it for years, and he's got years of experience and hundreds of experience. You want to be different. You want to have it different. Different at least gives you a good reason for someone to buy it. If you claim it's better, and you've been in business 3 months, and he's been in business 10 years and has 1,000 customers, that's a tough gig. But if you can show them it's different, that's a smart thing to do.
Now, you talk about in this book this pro forma P&L, which can be very intimidating to people. I mean, what is a pro forma P&L, and do you really need one to get off the ground?
You need to model this business financially, somewhat like you do at home with your budget. You have income at the top, $2,000 a month is your net income, and you subtract all your expenses, and if there's anything left on the bottom, you put it in the bank, right? It's savings. In the business world,
You try.
in the business world, you got revenue at the top instead of income. You subtract from the revenue the cost to make that revenue, that make the product, deliver the service. What's left is called gross profit. Gross profit. Subtract all your expenses from it, and what's left on the bottom line, that's a familiar term, is either a profit or a loss. So what you have to do first and foremost is to model this business. And what you do is you take month one. The revenue is probably 0, has some expenses. So guess what? There's a negative number at the bottom. Month 2, probably 0, same thing, negative. Month 3, a little bit of revenue, but not enough to cover the expenses. You finish that exercise until that number at the bottom gets to 0.
That's your break even.
That's your break even, good. And if you kept going, hopefully you start to make money. Now when you're done with that, you go back and look at it and you'll be horrified because you're not making nearly the money you hoped to make and it took too long. So what you do is you go back and tweak it and mess with it until you got it as best you can, right? If you can't get it to the point that you're happy, this is a good time to not go in business. Right? You should just keep your wallet in your pocket and try something else. If, however, it looks viable, then what you want to do now, you're say, okay, I'm going to go for that. How much money am I going to need? Well, the spreadsheet is telling you, add up all the negative numbers, that's what you need. So the spreadsheet is $20,000. So that's what the spreadsheet tells you. If you asked me, I'd say take that $20,000 and double it.
So now let's talk about how you came up with this. And Maryann, really, your plan with this is a little different than your classic publishing model. So I want you to talk about that because you've been in this space for quite many years. Your background is as a literary agent.
My background is as an author and a literary agent for many years. And there are so many people out there who want information in an efficient, uncluttered manner, and they want it from experts.